My dear spiritual seekers, welcome to this profound journey into the mysteries that exist beyond our physical realm. Today, I will share with you the 10 undeniable proofs that life after death is not merely a concept of faith, but a tangible reality waiting for us all. These revelations come from decades of spiritual exploration and the extraordinary insights of those who have glimpsed beyond the veil, including the remarkable Sylvia, whose spiritual gifts have illuminated the path for countless souls seeking understanding. When we speak of life after death, we are not discussing mere theories or wishful thinking. We are exploring the documented experiences of those who have witnessed the continuation of consciousness beyond physical existence. The first profound evidence comes from the visions that have been revealed to sensitive souls who momentarily crossed into the other side. These visions describe a realm of indescribable light, not the harsh light we know on Earth, but a gentle, all-encompassing radiance that emanates love in its purest form. Those who have experienced near-death events consistently report floating above their physical bodies, watching medical teams work desperately to revive them. They describe the sensation of being fully conscious, yet detached from physical limitations. Their awareness expands, allowing them to perceive events happening in other rooms, conversations occurring out of earshot, and details they could not possibly know through conventional means. What makes these accounts particularly compelling is their consistency across cultures, religions, and time periods. From ancient Egypt to modern America, the patterns remain remarkably similar. The tunnel of light, the presence of loving entities, the life review, these elements appear repeatedly in thousands of documented cases. How could individuals from vastly different backgrounds, with no knowledge of each other's experiences, report such strikingly similar journeys unless they were glimpsing the same spiritual reality? More fascinating still are the accounts of those who, during these experiences, encountered deceased loved ones whom they had never met in life. There are documented cases of individuals accurately describing relatives who died before they were born, identifying specific physical characteristics and personality traits they could not possibly have known. In some remarkable instances, these descriptions have led to the discovery of old photographs or documents that verified these details, confirming what the spirits had revealed. The veil between worlds is thinner than most realize. In moments of profound meditation, during the transition between wakefulness and sleep, or in times of deep emotional connection, many have received glimpses of the other side. These are not hallucinations, but genuine spiritual connections, moments when our souls resonate with the higher frequencies of existence. Those who have developed their spiritual sensitivity can perceive the subtle energies that surround us constantly. They describe seeing auras, fields of luminous radiation surrounding every living being. These energy fields contain information about our physical, emotional, and spiritual states. As we approach death, witnesses often report seeing these auras change, becoming more brilliant and expansive as the soul prepares to transition. The most compelling aspect of these visions is their transformative effect. Those who experience them rarely fear death afterward. Instead, they develop a profound understanding that death is merely a transition, a doorway to another phase of existence. Their priorities shift, material concerns diminish, and compassion for others increases dramatically. This consistent pattern of transformation suggests an encounter with something genuine and profound, not merely a psychological defense mechanism. Through the spiritual work of sensitives like Sylvia, we have gained invaluable insights into these realms. Their consistent descriptions of the spiritual landscape have helped us map the journey that awaits us all. The evidence suggests that consciousness is not produced by the brain, but rather channeled through it, like a television receives broadcast signals. When the physical apparatus fails, consciousness continues, freed from its temporary housing. These visions reveal that our loved ones are not lost to us, but merely existing in a different state of being. They remain aware of us, supporting our journeys, and waiting for the joyful reunion that will eventually come. The boundary between worlds is permeable, allowing communication and connection for those attuned to receive it. The spirit world constantly reaches out to us through various channels, sending messages that defy conventional explanation. These communications often contain highly specific details that mediums could not possibly know. Intimate family secrets, hidden objects, private conversations, and precise information about events that occurred decades in the past. The statistical improbability of consistently accurate cold readings challenges even the most skeptical minds. Consider the countless documented cases where spirits have revealed the locations of important documents, hidden heirlooms, or even buried remains that were subsequently discovered exactly where indicated. In one remarkable instance, a spirit communicated the existence of a safety deposit box unknown to any living family member, containing vital documents that resolved a long-standing inheritance dispute. The key had been hidden behind a loose brick in the basement, information impossible to guess or research. These spirit messages often arrive with distinctive personality traits that survivors immediately recognize. Specific phrases, unique mannerisms, inside jokes, or characteristic expressions that authenticate the communication beyond reasonable doubt. Family members frequently report, "That's exactly what he would have said," or "Only she would know about that incident." These personality fingerprints cannot be easily explained away as cold reading or research. More compelling still are the instances where spirits have provided critical information about ongoing situations. There are documented cases where messages from the other side have helped solve crimes, locate missing persons, or prevent disasters. How could such specific, actionable intelligence emerge if not from conscious entities existing beyond physical limitations? These messages demonstrate not only continued existence, but also an awareness of current earthly events. The consistency of these communications across different mediums also deserves attention. When several spiritually sensitive individuals, working independently and without knowledge of each other's findings, receive substantially identical information from the same spirit, we must consider the possibility that they are accessing a genuine consciousness rather than engaging in fabrication or telepathic collusion. What skeptics often fail to acknowledge is the transformative nature of authentic spirit communications. Those who receive genuine messages from loved ones describe a profound healing effect, a resolution of grief that conventional therapy cannot provide. This emotional healing often comes not from vague platitudes, but from specific messages addressing unresolved concerns or answering questions that have tormented the living. Based on thousands of documented communications, we have learned that spirits often report an initial period of adjustment after transition. They describe the process of adapting to non-physical existence, learning to manipulate energy rather than matter, communicating through thought rather than speech, and experiencing time in a non-linear fashion. The consistency of these reports suggests a genuine experience rather than cultural conditioning or imagination. Spirits consistently communicate that they continue to grow, learn, and evolve in the afterlife. They describe realms of learning, healing, and creative expression that far exceed earthly limitations. Many report working as guides or helpers for those still in physical form, as well as assisting newly transitioned souls in their adjustment process. This complex social organization and purposeful activity argue against the notion that these communications are merely projections of human wishes. Perhaps most significant are the messages concerning universal spiritual truths. Spirits from diverse religious backgrounds consistently report that divisive dogmas fall away after transition, replaced by a profound understanding of the underlying unity of all spiritual paths. They emphasize love, compassion, and service rather than doctrine or ritual. This convergence of spiritual understanding, transcending cultural and religious differences, suggests contact with a higher reality rather than psychological projection. Through dedicated research and thousands of documented sessions, we now understand that spirit communication follows certain patterns and principles. The veil between worlds thins during significant emotional events, around anniversaries of passing, and during times of crisis or significant life changes. Spirits appear particularly capable of connecting during the liminal states of consciousness between waking and sleeping, or during deep meditation when the analytical mind quiets. My cherished spiritual companions, we now venture into perhaps the most fascinating evidence of the afterlife: encounters with souls caught between realms. These transitional spirits, neither fully here nor completely there, provide us with extraordinary insights into the journey that awaits us all, and what they have discovered about souls trapped between worlds. Throughout human history, Across every culture and civilization, there have been consistent reports of encounters with souls in transition. These are not mere ghost stories meant to frighten children on dark nights. Rather, they represent genuine encounters with consciousness that has left the physical body but not yet fully transitioned to the higher realms. By studying these encounters systematically, we gain profound understanding of the afterlife process. These transitional souls often report being temporarily disoriented after physical death, particularly when the transition is sudden or unexpected. They describe watching their own lifeless bodies with confusion, attempting to communicate with loved ones who cannot perceive them, and experiencing a reality that overlaps with our physical world, yet operates according to different principles. Time perception shifts dramatically, with moments stretching into what seems like eternity, or years compressing into fleeting instants. What makes these accounts particularly evidential is their consistency regarding the mechanics of transition. Souls consistently report an initial attachment to physical locations and persons of emotional significance. They describe learning to manipulate energy with thought, gradually mastering the ability to move objects, influence electrical fields, appear in dreams, or rarely manifest visible apparitions. These techniques follow consistent patterns regardless of the deceased's religious beliefs or cultural background. Particularly compelling are cases of transitional souls who have unfinished business. Researchers have documented hundreds of instances where deceased individuals have communicated critical information unknown to the living, the location of important documents, hidden assets, or even evidence concerning the circumstances of their deaths. In one remarkable case, a transitional soul led investigators to evidence that completely reversed the understanding of what had appeared to be a suicide, revealing it to be murder. The perpetrator was subsequently convicted based on evidence that could not have been discovered without the spirit's intervention. The emotional state of these souls provides further evidence of continued consciousness. They express the full range of human emotions: confusion, attachment, concern, love, and eventually acceptance and peace as they prepare for complete transition. This emotional continuity strongly suggests that personality and identity persist beyond physical death, evolving rather than disappearing. Multiple witnesses often corroborate these transitional appearances independently. There are well-documented cases where several individuals, without knowledge of each other's experiences, have encountered the same transitional soul with consistent descriptions of appearance, behavior, and communication. Such collective experiences challenge conventional explanations and suggest objective encounters rather than subjective hallucination. Research into transitional souls has revealed that they often exist in a state where past, present, and future interpenetrate. They report witnessing not only current events, but simultaneously perceiving probable futures and reviewing past actions. This non-linear experience of time frequently allows them to provide warnings about future events or insights into seemingly random connections between past actions and current circumstances. These souls in transition have consistently revealed that our physical world is merely the densest layer of a multi-dimensional reality. They describe experiencing additional senses beyond the 5 recognized by conventional science: direct knowing, instantaneous communication, perception of energetic fields, and awareness of thoughts and emotions as tangible things. This expanded sensory capacity explains their ability to know intimate details about the living that couldn't be obtained through conventional means. Perhaps most significant is what these transitional souls reveal about the purpose of the in-between state. Far from being a punishment or purgatorial holding pattern, this phase serves important spiritual functions, allowing for integration of life experiences, resolution of attachments, and preparation for higher states of consciousness. The transitional period varies in duration depending on the soul's development, circumstances of death, and spiritual understanding achieved during physical life. Those who work with transitional souls, mediums, hospice workers, and grief counselors with spiritual sensitivity report that most souls require assistance to complete their transition. This help may come from deceased loved ones, spiritual guides, or from the prayers and rituals of the living. This interdimensional assistance process has been consistently described across diverse spiritual traditions, suggesting it reflects genuine spiritual mechanics rather than cultural invention. Remember that these encounters with souls in transition are not merely comforting beliefs but documented phenomena supported by thousands of consistent reports across cultures and time periods. They reveal that consciousness does not extinguish at death but transforms, evolving through a process that maintains individual identity while expanding awareness beyond physical limitations. In our next chapter, we will explore the detailed descriptions of spiritual realms beyond the transitional state, the structures and environments that await us all. What emerges from these collective testimonies is not the simplistic heaven and hell of religious caricature, but rather a complex, multi-dimensional reality organized according to spiritual laws. These realms are not arbitrary rewards or punishments imposed by an external deity, but natural environments that correspond to our spiritual development and vibrational frequency. We gravitate to the level that matches our consciousness, a process governed by spiritual physics rather than moral judgment. The lower realms, what many traditions call hell, are not eternal punishments, but temporary states of purification. Those who have glimpsed these dimensions describe environments of restricted awareness, emotional density, and spiritual darkness. Souls in these realms experience the consequences of their actions, not through external punishment, but through profound self-realization. They directly experience the suffering they caused others, not as punishment, but as essential education. This process, while intense, is always purposeful, designed for spiritual growth rather than retribution. In contrast, the higher realms, traditionally called heaven, manifest as environments of extraordinary beauty, harmony, and expanded consciousness. Those who have visited these dimensions consistently describe landscapes of breathtaking splendor, gardens of living light, architecture of crystalline transparency, music that can be simultaneously seen and felt, and colors beyond our physical spectrum. These are not mere metaphors, but attempts to describe realities that transcend ordinary sensory experience. What makes these descriptions particularly evidential is their consistency across different mediums, near-death experiences, and spiritually sensitive individuals who have no knowledge of each other's accounts. The spiritual geography they describe includes specific regions dedicated to healing, learning, creative expression, reunion, and service. This complex organizational structure suggests an objective reality rather than subjective imagination. Particularly compelling are the accounts of spiritual libraries or Akashic records, vast repositories of knowledge where all history, all possible futures, and all wisdom are accessible. Those who have visited these centers of learning describe accessing information about their past lives, understanding the purpose behind seemingly random events, and comprehending the intricate connections between all souls across time. This expanded awareness explains the profound transformation that typically follows authentic spiritual experiences. The celestial realms operate according to principles that differ dramatically from physical existence. Thought creates reality instantly. Communication occurs through direct consciousness rather than symbols or language. Time functions non-linearly, with past, present, and future accessible simultaneously. Distance is a function of spiritual affinity rather than spatial separation. Souls with harmonious vibrations naturally gravitate toward one another, regardless of apparent location. Multiple witnesses have consistently described specific features of the afterlife landscape: the welcoming centers where newly transitioned souls are received, the healing gardens where emotional and spiritual wounds are addressed, the learning centers where souls review their earth experiences and plan future growth. These consistent reports of infrastructure suggest an organized reality rather than hallucination or fantasy. Perhaps most significant are the descriptions of the communal nature of these realms. Souls are organized into spiritual families or groups based on shared purposes and developmental paths. These soul groups collaborate on specific missions, incarnating together across multiple lifetimes to assist each other's growth and contribute to collective evolution. This complex social organization, consistently reported by different sources, provides compelling evidence of continuing consciousness and purpose. The spiritual cartography revealed through countless testimonies also includes descriptions of the pathways between realms. Souls can progress from lower to higher dimensions as they evolve in awareness and capacity for love. This progression is not linear but spiral, involving cycles of incarnation, integration, service, and expansion. The journey has no ultimate endpoint, but continues toward ever more refined states of consciousness and creative expression. Based on hundreds of verified predictions that have already manifested, we now understand that souls at higher levels can perceive probable futures, not as fixed destinies, but as energetic patterns with varying probabilities. This capacity explains the accuracy of genuine prophetic visions, particularly those concerning collective events rather than individual choices. When multiple sensitives independently predict the same event, we witness evidence of access to information beyond conventional sensory limitations. As we conclude our exploration, remember that these revelations about heaven and hell are not abstract theological concepts, but documented aspects of an ongoing reality. The consistency of these accounts across cultures, traditions, and time periods suggests they reflect genuine perception rather than cultural conditioning. The remarkable detail, complexity, and internal coherence of these descriptions provide compelling evidence that consciousness continues beyond physical death in organized, purposeful environments. My beloved spiritual seekers, the map has been given. The testimonies of thousands who have glimpsed beyond the veil, communicated with those who have crossed over, encountered souls in transition, and perceived the complex geography of spiritual realms provide overwhelming evidence that life after death is not merely possible. It is certain. We do not end, we transform. We do not disappear, we expand. And in that knowledge lies our greatest peace, our deepest courage, and our most profound hope. If these revelations about the afterlife have touched your soul, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Subscribe now to continue our spiritual journey together and receive more profound insights that mainstream science won't reveal. Share your own experiences with the other side in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Hit that notification bell to ensure you never miss our weekly explorations into the mysteries beyond physical existence. Remember, understanding the afterlife isn't just about what happens when we die. It's about transforming how we live. Join our spiritual family by subscribing right now.